right, so we are back out here on another project. On this one, we're going to be showing you how to grind and do a spray texture knockdown finish around a pool deck. Very popular look, and I'm going to turn this thing around and show you what it looks like now, and we're going to show you all the steps it takes to get there. All right, so here's our final finish right here. You can see all the texture, which is great for a pool deck. It is not too rough on your feet to walk around. You see we went around the stones. We just put this sealer down about an hour ago, and turned out to be a really nice look. Very random but consistent spray pattern at the same time. We did not coat the face. The only thing we did is we sanded that. That is a concrete coping face right there, and we just brushed this solid color sealer on. And we are going to show you all the steps on how to achieve a look like this. So stay tuned, and make sure and hit that like, subscribe button, and follow along. Comment, pass this stuff along, and it really helps us stay motivated to keep posting and sharing our tips and tricks on how we do things. What up, gang? All right, so we are out here on another project. We are back in Blairsville, Georgia, and I'm going to turn this around and show you guys what we're going to be doing. Micah, Bub, and they got a pool deck done, and they add integral color to the concrete, and I guess it did not go in the truck. They just forgot to put it in. So they had the concrete guys come back, and I'm assuming put a solid color sealer, and I'm not sure. I'm in between that or water-based, because you can see it's coming up, but it's also deteriorating the surface. This is a saltwater pool, but they have not used any rock salt or ice melt, so this is strange to me that this is happening. So we're going to be grinding this coating off and cutting down through this loose stuff. We may end up densifying it, just depends on how it looks once we get it ground. But yeah, tricky. You can see some of the slopes that we deal with in our area, and had to get the trailer. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath from getting that heavy ass grinder and vac up here. But yeah, we got unloaded, got plywood down, and got this up here, and we're about to mess with our tooling, get that figured up. So we're going to be cutting all this off, and then we're going to be doing cool decking or a spray texture knockdown technique, and then we'll be putting a solid color sealer on top of that. So we'll update you guys through some of the process, but we're going to get this tooling figured out and go from there. All right, guys, it is day 2 out here at Bubba Micah. So yesterday they got pool deck ground. The top was coming off, as I showed you guys, so you can see the aggregate is exposed. The broom finish is now removed, and we have some crack repair that we did and stitched back together. We skipped a lot of those steps. If you wonder how we do stuff like that, we have that in other videos, but just for a time-saving thing, just wanted to show we got all the concrete ground, all the crack repair done. Inside of this coping, we just took a sanding stone and a diamond impregnated sanding pad and just scuffed that around there. We're not going to be coating this face right here. We're not going to be putting any concrete overlay on that. We're just going to, when we do this spray knockdown texture and we put a solid color sealer, we're actually just going to brush that face right there too. We have a couple little patches we'll do that chipped out, but all in all, it's ready, and we're going to let this dry, do a little masking, take lunch, and then we're going to put down our colored base coat, and then tomorrow we'll be doing our spray texture. All right, so it's getting later in the day. Sorry I didn't really record much of this, but we got our first base coat put down. We are using a new product by StarDeck, recommended by our good buddy Cody Dawkins that we always talk about. He's used this for almost 20 years or close to 20 years, and it's had good success, so we figured we'd try it out. So all we're doing is putting down a base coat. Once again, our concrete was ground and clean, cracks repaired, and now we're just putting this down with a magic trowel and a trowel, holding this phone in my hand. But all I'm doing is basically just swooping this around and pulling it tight, taking that material just like that and just working that back and forth, and then we end up with the look like that. And then tomorrow we'll scrape it off and be ready for a spray texture. So we're going to mix up a half a bag, even though we only need about a quarter. We did tint this because this material only comes in white, even though that looks white. It is like a silver color. So we are going to mix up half a bag, and then we'll update you guys tomorrow. But once again, it's pretty simple. We are troweling around these pool cover things and troweling up there by the pool coping, and then some on the edges where kind of far away, but where we don't get the material right on the edge, we're actually just chip brushing that with the same material. So I'm going to keep on pulling this down. Very simple with a magic trowel. It does a nice finish. Just pull that and keep working your way back, and that's it. All right, guys, I know it's loud. We're over here by the air compressor, but I wanted to show you the material we were using. It's called StarDeck. So with this, you don't add just water. You mix a resin in with it that's half water, half resin. So just to show you, the square footage on this calls for about 5 bags. So we went ahead and mixed our color in with the resin and water, and they are mixing up a bag right now. We started with the air lower and we had bigger droplets. I didn't like that, so we turned our pressure up and ended up with smaller ones. I like that. So if you like that look, good, great, do what you think looks good. But we ended up with something closer to this, and I have already knocked this down, and this is going to be really deceiving looking right now, just because it's drying, and we're going to put a solid color sealer. So I just wanted to show you guys kind of what it looked like after I knocked it down. And when I troweled in half moon patterns in different directions. So I did not all just go linear lines or all one direction. Looks pretty good. If you notice here, Bub had a little bit left in there, but it wasn't enough to do this whole square. So what we did is we stopped at this line. While this is wet, I am going to go ahead. Now it doesn't matter, it's nice and overcast, probably 55 degrees out, so we have a lot of time compared to the summer. But say in the summer, you can either shield this right here, like we did over there, or you could just take your trowel and knock this down flat, and then hold your cardboard up on that joint right there so you don't get overspray. Right now we're in good shape, we don't really have to worry about it because it's not drying fast. But the Bub's ready?
I'm ready. Ready to rock and roll.
Just second to largest orifice on here. So there's, see all these different sizes. This is the biggest. This is the second one down. That's the one we're going with for this look. And then what would you say pressure is, Bub?
I would say like 25.
It's pretty high, right? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's pretty high. But once again, get cardboard. It's not that expensive. Fuck around on that. See what you like. Go from there. All right, so it begins. So I didn't show you guys the mixing process, but we actually held off a little bit of water, and Bub is spraying in a circular motion. He's gonna keep going. We'll let this dry. When it starts to haze over, we'll actually go out on spikes and knock that down, and we'll show you how we do that. So Bub is on his last stretch down there where they're at, and they just gotta go out, and we'll shield this first section that we did. You notice we stopped here and then went back over here and started, so we had an exit strategy where our mixing station is to go on and off. So I've already knocked down from, you see the lighter section down here. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can see that knockdown texture right there. Looks pretty good. One of the reasons I'm recording right now is, for one, this was a wet spot, and I don't know, maybe we pre-dampened this. You can see our Milwaukee backpack sprayer, so we're just misting the surface. So that may have had a little bit too much water. And I'm starting barely touching just to see, and then going harder if I have to. I'm not just putting medium to hard pressure down right away. I'm letting the concrete tell me what it needs. On the edges, I'm having to push a lot harder than in the middle. Well, this spot was wet, so it flattened all the way out. So what we did, instead of spraying back into that, we just took a chip brush and dipped it into our hopper and flicked some on there. So I'm gonna give that some time to set up and go back out there and just knock that down after it sets up a little bit. I do not want a slick spot that doesn't match everything else. So let me switch hands. I'm gonna show you guys. So I got my trowel. I'm using a wet rag, and I'm just wiping this off to keep the edge of it clean. Typically I have that in my left hand, but I'm holding the phone. So you can see I already did that section. This is not done, so I'm gonna start with a little bit of pressure. Now I can go a little more, and I'm trialing in different directions, looking at the concrete and letting it tell me what I think looks good and consistent with everything else. I'm not just going in hard on it. I'm gonna barely touch it and see, because you can hit some wetter spots. I'm noticing it's drying faster on the edges and out here on this edge, so I'm having to push down hard, but I'm still using the same technique to where I'm barely touching this. And see, that's not doing a whole lot, so then I'll start pushing harder and harder, and you can see that flatten out even more. So anyways, they're coming along pretty good. They got that middle section and this last one left. I haven't been recording or timing this, but I'd say we've probably been spraying about an hour. All right, guys, so it is day 4. Yesterday we got our knockdown, put down, and everything scraped. It went really good, and it was about 2:30, maybe close to 3 o'clock, and we decided to go ahead and start sealing this thing, which you can do with something like this since it cures so fast. If it whites out and you can scratch it with your fingernail and it doesn't come off, it's good to be sealed since it's such a thin layer. But yeah, so we started putting it down, and we had a little bitty ass cell on the radar, nothing around it, headed our way. I was like, man, we're just gonna go for it. Sure enough, that fucker came right through, dude, and luckily we were almost done with the coping face. I figured we'd start there. If there was any issues, it's easy to fix instead of being on the actual deck. But let me turn this around and show you. So you can see the difference right here, the coping color as opposed to the top, and all this, it looks stark white. When you put white up against that, it's actually an off-white, and the lighter the color is you put down, obviously the cooler it is going to be. Now they say that this material is 30% cooler than traditional concrete, hence the name cool decking, or why it's referred to that. But with the color, it is bright, and it will be bright in the sun. But if you look at their house, I mean, to me, that is an off-white. So is this. I think it's a nice match, as well as this area right here. Anyways, I wanted to show you guys a couple things. When you have these holes right here for the cover, if you deal with these, a really good tip, you can, roll up tape and put in there. You can cut foam. What we actually did is just took regular earbuds and just pushed down in there. Some of them we actually had to take 2 and push down in there, and it worked really good. We could trowel right over top of it and not have our the bolts sticking up to go around, which is a pain in the ass. Another couple things I feel like is worth mentioning. You guys saw that all this was masked off with plastic. So we actually take black 6mm visqueen or white, it doesn't matter. Go all the way around, and then we'll tape one side right underneath the coping, and then basically just work it in. You can cut it. We did not. We actually just folded it onto itself, and that protected the pool from getting too dirty. Here's another cool tip. Go get you some dollar pool noodles. We threw those all in the pool. There's about 30 noodles right there. We taped a bunch of them together for the longer perimeters, and then we put our plastic down, and that really helps that plastic hold and float like that, especially if you get some water or rain on it. It doesn't just want to sag down and pull your tape off the edges. So anyways, that was just worth mentioning. We had to get that out this morning, and since it was already a little wet, we went ahead and did that, and Bub is drying this off. We got some fans going, and as soon as this thing is dry enough, we are going to finish putting our sealer down. And then here's our crack repair that I think once that solid color sealer is on there, you'll never see. So we're gonna let this dry, and we're gonna get back to sealing and show you guys a little bit of that. So what we did is we went back through and ran our 4-inch grinder through these saw cuts, opened them back up so it did not crack there. Next thing we did is we actually brushed around. You can see the little color difference. Did the face yesterday, but we also did the first few inches here, and then also, it's kind of hard to see, but on this edge too. So that way when we're rolling, we don't have to try to go all the way over and roll the edge. Now we're using 18-inch rollers, and we're just gonna work this square at a time. So from saw cut to saw cut, and I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Bub is gonna blow this off just to get some extra dust off of here. We got everything cut in, so we don't have to get too close to anything at all. But once we get rolling, sometimes this stuff can bubble, and if it does, we'll show you guys how to do that. All right, guys, so that's a wrap. Got our second coat of sealer put on there. We did have some bubbling. It was an easy thing to go through with a push broom after we could walk on and just knock those things down. Really turned out to be nice. Let me show you guys. All right, so here's our final finish. Really a huge difference from what it was. It's a light color, but it also blends in with their house pretty good. And it's got some nice consistent texture on here. Everything's clean along the edges. You remember we shielded everything, masked all the walls off, and really a nice look, man. So that's how you do a spray knockdown finish. Huge shout out to Bub over there getting cleaned up. We about to take the grinders down and start a big ass epoxy flake job. And Micah and Brittany and just and also the homeowners that own this company too. Great people. This is our 4th project we've done for them. So anyways, hopefully now you got an idea on how to do something like this, and let us know in the comment section if you have any tips or tricks or anything that you do different, and maybe we'll give it a shot next time.